Dating someone with paranoid personality disorder. Introduction. If you've ever been in a relationship with someone who has paranoid personality disorder, PPD, then you know how difficult and frustrating it can be. The person you're dating might be difficult to be with at times, but there are ways to cope. PPD isn't something that can be cured with medication. You'll have to change some of your behavior, but it's important not to lose yourself. Don't try to convince the person you care about that they're wrong. All this will do is make them angry at you and reinforce their paranoid beliefs about others' intentions toward them. If the relationship is important, it's worth the effort. The person you're dating might be difficult to be with at times, but there are ways to cope. Listen well. Ask questions. Understand that your partner's concerns are legitimate, and don't argue about them. Offer support and encouragement when possible, but don't go overboard. This is a person with a mental illness, not a child learning to ride a bike for the first time. Be patient with your partner's progress. You can't rush recovery from paranoid personality disorder any more than you could speed up the healing process after surgery on someone's leg. It takes time and dedication to change long-standing patterns of behavior in any area of life, and nowhere is that truer than in relationships where one or both partners suffer from mental illness. PPD isn't something that can be cured with medication. Medication can't cure your partner's PPD, but it can help manage the symptoms. For example, if your partner feels depressed and isolated, an antidepressant may be able to help lift his or her mood and increase energy levels. A mood stabilizer like lithium, which has been shown to reduce paranoia, might also be helpful for this purpose. In addition, antipsychotic medications are sometimes prescribed for people with severe psychiatric illnesses such as schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. These medications may help stabilize the thoughts of someone with paranoid personality disorder as well. You'll have to change some of your behavior, but it's important not to lose yourself. You will have to change some of your behavior, but it's important not to lose yourself. For example, if the person you care about asks you for something that makes them feel safe and loved, don't be afraid to say no. If they're asking for something unreasonable, tell them no as well. And don't feel like you have to put up with things that make you unhappy. If your partner is being unfair or unreasonable, call them out on it. In general, it's helpful if a person with paranoid personality disorder can trust their partner enough that they're willing and able to let go of some control over their own life, for example, by letting the other person decide where they'll go on date nights. The more confident someone feels in trusting others with their well-being and happiness, including themselves, the less likely they are able to maintain paranoid thoughts and behaviors over time. Don't try to convince the person you care about that they're wrong. You can't change your partner's feelings or their behavior, but you can try to change some of the things they do. If they're always late, try setting up a schedule that lets them know when they need to be somewhere. If they spend too much money on something unnecessary, talk about ways to save money in the future and remind them that money is not infinite. As long as you're aware of their needs and you keep talking about it with each other, your relationship will stay strong. It can be tough, but if the relationship is important, it's worth the effort. To make the most of your relationship, it's important to be honest about what you can and can't do. For example, if your partner is having an episode and is paranoid about the neighbors listening in on the two of you talking, it's okay for him or her to close the blinds and shut off all electronic devices, phones, laptops. It might also be helpful for him or her to take a break from texting or emailing for a day or two. In general, try not to make any sudden movements when communicating with someone who has paranoid personality disorder. For example, don't make sudden movements while they are holding something sharp or dangerous like scissors or a knife. If you think your partner may become violent due to an episode of paranoia, example, thinking someone has been following them, leave the area as quickly as possible without making eye contact with anyone else in case they try using this as evidence against them later on down the road, which could lead into an argument. Some people suffering from this condition may need medication, so it's important that everyone involved knows what they're taking at all times so there won't be any confusion later on down into their treatment plan. Conclusion. If you care about someone with PPD, you can help them by being supportive and understanding. You may have to compromise on some issues, but it's important not to lose yourself in the process.